The sleepy, beautiful Earth Angels Divine. It's Rev Roni here again, and I wanted to continue with some comments that were made yesterday in yesterday's live feed. Um, Before going to sleep last night, somebody had made mention to me of some policy changes that were coming into effect in the United States, and let's just say they were rather disturbing, to say the least, which is not anything new, not anything any of us is unawares of. As we stated yesterday, we are gifted with this individual who is very blatantly obvious with their grossness. And then I had insomnia, and the thought came to me, we had this march that happened globally, with little to no major effort required to gather millions upon millions of people outside of the atrocities of this individual's mouth and actions and beingness. And we were able to unite with all of these people together, millions of people together, and with what I'm seeing happening right now and what I'm hearing, there's a lot more grossness that is likely to occur, not just in the next little while, but if this lasts for the 4-year term, over the 4-year term. Having said that, the fact that millions of people mobilized together for a protest indicates that we are at a tipping point where we might, like in the movie A Bug's Life, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of or seen it, you've got this group of ants, like millions of ants, but they're really tiny, obviously, as we know. And then you've got the big cockroaches or grasshoppers, really big. There's not as many of them, but they're huge. And they're feeding off of the ants, not the ants themselves, but off of their food, off of their production, off of their work, basically, their lives, stealing from them. And eventually, the ants realize that they completely outnumber the grasshoppers. And so they have to come up with a plan that they feel comfortable and confident and courageous enough to implement so that they can take back their lives and their freedom to be living without somebody who is over them. Sound familiar a little bit? Movies usually, really good ones have these little. Anywho, so I was thinking we're at a place right now, this tipping point where there's millions of people, and there's going to be a lot more, let's just say, yuckiness, grossness that's going to be coming up that will likely incite enormous amounts of rage in a lot of people, reactionary, passionate, impulsive responses. And I think it's important that right now, from the get-go, we commit ourselves to not being reactionary and instead to choosing to respond through love, which does not mean that we roll over, lie down, and take it. It means we are seeking a remedy. We are ready for a revolution. The people are gathering, but in order for the revolution to be effective, and to create the change that we wish to be, it needs to be within the vein of that which we are seeking to implement, which is love, right? We are seeking to implement that human life is given respect and honor, and that we are coming together as community, and we are feeding each other healthy foods, and we are respecting and honoring our planet. So love, basically. We've been living under fear for thousands upon years, and we're at a point right now, this tipping point is very exciting, where we're getting ready for the revolution to occur, where we are going to shift into love. But to do so, we must do so through love. So if we're having protests, we need to do peaceful protests. And protests are wonderful because they let other people know that there's other people out there. We're coming together. We're getting, yes, you're here too. Oh my gosh, there's millions of us. This is great. So we're mobilizing. But now we have to go to the next step, which is, okay, we see that there's a problem. We see that there's many, many of us and few of them. We know that we can do something. What are we going to do? And we need to start brainstorming now about how we can affect positive change. And we need to do it again from a perspective that is based in love. So, as disgusting as some of the policies and the actions and the people that are being put into place in the government, and it should be stated that even though we're focusing on the government of the United States, they are but an example, a reflection of government in general. I mean, let's face it, it is what it is. Okay? They're all in bed together. All right, moving on. We want to be able to come from a place that's much more loving, because that's what we're wanting to come into. So we have to start thinking about remedies, solutions by which we can utilize our joint forces to affect the change that we want to affect. So I'm asking, instead of turning to the anger, because it's going to be easy. It's going to be really easy. There's going to be so much bleh thrown at us, to take a stand back, relax, take a breath, and say, okay, how do we mobilize our resources to affect the change we wish to be lovingly? And start dialoguing in that manner. One of the ideas that came to me, again, I had insomnia last night, was, instead of running to overthrow the government or punch people in the face, I mean, really, people know what they need. People know what they want. There's a movie that I absolutely adore called La Belle Verte, where the people from all of the different areas of their planet come together and they ask them, so who needs what? And maybe we can start with that, asking our brothers and sisters, what do you need? What are you lacking? What would you like? And then figuring out from there how we can provide that for ourselves and one another, and co-creatively collaborate as the universal family that we are. So that's just my little tidbit for today. Again, I send forth blessings that this finds you all loving life, and I send forth blessings for our blossoming fabulous, every single one of we, in ease and grace and beauty and love. Mwah. Blessedly be in Lakesha Lakin. Namaste.